Simply Secured, Elevating Cyber Careers is a podcast dedicated to the telling of real stories of cybersecurity practitioners. They are on the ground solving problems, leading teams, and building secure systems. Hosted by James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet, each episode features a honest, engaging conversation with someone whose work in cybersecurity might not make headlines, but makes a real impact. Hello there, and welcome to Simply Secured. I'm your host, James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet, and in today's episode, we chat with a beloved member of the Simply Cyber community, and he's also an MDR security analyst. Of course, we're talking about Casually Joseph, aka Joseph Cadden. Now, we're going to chat about the importance of certifications, his role over at Palo Alto, and the impact of artificial intelligence in those SOC positions. He's got his own YouTube channel, and he's got his own meme. Nowadays, he's on Team Replay as he's working the late shift. I'm real excited to welcome Casually Joseph to the show, so please make sure to subscribe to this podcast and, of course, to the Simply Cyber Media Group and all the other fantastic podcasts that Jerry has to offer. I hope you're seated comfortably and ready to go as we chat with Casually Joseph here today.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Joseph, also known as Casually Joseph. I work at Palo Alto with the Unit 42 MDR team, and I'm a longtime member of the Simply Cyber community.
Ready for takeoff.
All right, and welcome back to another episode. I'm very excited to be joined by our guest today. We all know him as Casually Joseph. Some people call him CJ, some people call him other things. I just know you can't call him late for dinner. I am real excited to have Joseph with us here today. We're going to kind of kick things off. And what I'm really curious to know, tell us what your aha moment was when you realized that cybersecurity was the career for you.
Okay, yeah. So when I was in high school, I was getting very big into building computers. I had finally gotten my own tangible funds to build my gaming computers because I've been a lifelong gamer. I was building people's computers for money, and it was a good time. Eventually, I just kind of was like, okay, what if I just turned this into a job? And like, I started researching IT and like what they did, because I was kind of ignorant at that point where I was like, I don't know anything about the IT world. And I was like looking up like, how would I work in IT? What certifications should I get for IT, et cetera, et cetera. And then I discovered cybersecurity kind of on the back wing of this, because this was back when cybersecurity was still called like InfoSec. It wasn't quite cybersecurity. I decided, I was like, okay, so what is this? And then I me being young, and this is kind of everyone's first like aha moment with cybersecurity, is like, I heard about ethical hacking, and I was like, oh, that sounds fun. I want to do ethical hacking. So I decided to go to school for IT with a focus in security. Out of high school, I went and started my bachelor's program. And I took it slow at first, and then, you know, the whole pandemic happened, and I decided to like basically double speed my my degree so I could get into the game quicker. And yeah, doing the security labs, I discovered I actually was not a red teamer. I actually don't like it that much. I discovered that going through the logs and whatnot was where I wanted to be, and it's just developed since then.
So you're a blue teamer at heart. That's kind of where it comes from. You know, on your LinkedIn profile, and the link is of course in the show notes for everybody to go check out. You have yourself listed as Chief Zoomer.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
So there was a big meme for a while of boomer versus zoomers, like, okay, boomer. And then like the zoomers were all the Gen Z, you know, fancy new lingo, blah, blah, blah. I'm a Gen Z. So I just, I decided to make my own title up and call myself a chief zoomer. Like everyone has on LinkedIn, right? It's like chief executive, whatever, chief of operations. You know, I just thought it would be tongue in cheek to call myself the chief zoomer.
That's very cool. All right, Chief Zoomer. There we go.
There we go.
Now, so did high school, fell in love building computers. You know, I have to ask, because I built computers way back in the 90s and early 2000s for friends and family and made a little money off of it. But I got out of it really, really quick. And the reason I got out of it, and I'm curious to know if you felt the same way, but the reason I got out of it was I couldn't take all the phone calls. People calling me
Yeah.
up and going, it's running a little slow, or I've got this problem, or it's doing this. And while it was fun building them and giving it to them, they didn't have the computer experience. And so once it got too much, I was like, all right, that's it. I'm done. Here, I'm giving you store-bought computer.
Yeah. No, so really I only ever built for it felt like I was building computers basically strictly for gamers because it was people at school who would have money, they just didn't know how to build a computer. So I would build gaming computers and we kind of agreed, of course we were like 16, 17. I'm not like creating documents here, but we kind of agreed that like once it's in your hands, it's yours. And I was even willing to teach them the parts as I put them in because I would build them at their house. I wouldn't build them at my house. They would order all the parts, so I didn't handle any of their money. They would pay me like $150. I would come over and I would just put the thing together. I would tell like if they wanted to know while they were sitting there, I'd tell them what every part does and like common errors. If they didn't, then I would just build in silence, listen to some music, and move on. I basically established that I'm not touching this once it's done. Like, so I did not have that issue, thankfully. But I will say, as I was going through my IT degree, boy, did my family love calling me on every technical issue they had. And it was usually just the wrong input channel on the TV.
Right. Yep. Or it was, yeah, they turn it off, turn it back on again,
Yeah.
or unplug and replug it in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wow. Well, you've moved on. You went and got yourself a bachelor's degree. Now you're taking, and I think you touched upon it a little bit already, but now you're kind of taking that next step and you're pursuing a master's degree. How's that going for you? And what kind of projects are you working on?
Yeah, so the master's is going great. I did 7 courses in one semester last year, and then I kind of slowed down and I hit this wall because WGU does certification-based stuff. I was able to do the CYSA really quick because I knew a lot of the content on it, and now I'm having to do the Pen Test Plus, and it's just like I'm having to memorize a bunch of command flags for things I never use. So it's like it's gone slow now, but once I'm over the hill, I think it's going to be home free because I've only got like the 2 more courses left, and yeah, it's going great.
So, what kind of insights have you gained from the work? I mean, you talked about pen testing and you're a blue teamer. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it sounds like memorizing some of the stuff's been a pain, but what kind of other insights are you learning about cybersecurity or yourself with regards to this?
I did learn a lot through this degree. It actually made me look at cybersecurity through a business lens more than I really ever did before. It kind of helped put a frame to risk and like what I'm actually doing in my job, be it in vulnerability management, MDR, if I was a pen tester, it doesn't matter. Like it's all about providing value. And that kind of gets spelled out in a very subtle way. And it was actually very interesting to learn because the bachelor's was all like, here's how we do stuff. We need things to function. The master's is like, all right, it's functioning. This is why we do these things for the business. And it was a pretty good scope.
And MDR, managed detection and response. Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Just to make sure, in case some folks that are listening may not be fully aware. So, you said, and I can't believe this, but you took 7 classes last year. So over the course of the year, it was 7 classes.
7 courses in 6 months. Yes, sir.
7 courses, 6 months. Holy cow. So how, I kind of have an idea of what your response to this may be, but for people out there that are curious, my gosh, could I do 7 classes? How did you balance that graduate level type coursework? Plus you're working full time, plus you're helping out on the Simply Cyber Show. How did you balance all that? What kind of tips or tricks can you share with us?
I
Besides no sleep.
yeah, I was about to say I did certainly sleep less, but no, it was really just a getting a schedule and dedicating to it. Like I knew what time I was going to get off from work every day. I knew that I had an hour to study on my break. I knew that I could study for an hour before I had to cook dinner. I knew that after my girlfriend goes to sleep, I've got about 2 hours that I could do stuff. So I just kind of split up the day where it's like, all right, I'm going to work, I'm do a little bit of study, I'm going to hang out, and then I'm going to study some more and go to bed. And I just kept that role for months. And thankfully, a lot of the content I was semi familiar with. So it was definitely a lot of studying ahead of time. I knew I was going to do the masters and I kind of looked over what they had. So I went and did some research ahead of time of different things I could look into.
So yeah, I mean, you certainly kind of have to get yourself into those different silos. All right, this is the time I'm working on this. This is the time I'm working on that. Compartmentalizing.
And the hardest thing is to keep that phone out of your hand, keep the distractions free. I'm telling you, when you work at home and you live constantly at home, the distractions are all over the place. So you just kind of, there was a point where I was studying in my spare bedroom that we have here, and there's nothing in there. It is a bed, and I just like sat on the bed with a laptop, and I just kept my phone in the hallway whenever I was like pre-test, pre whatever was happening. Yeah,
Just so you could focus and stay away from all the distractions. Yeah,
100%.
that takes a lot of discipline, takes a lot of drive and attention. So kudos for you for that so far. And of course, working towards getting to your master's degree. When we look at what you're doing now on a day-to-day basis, what the day job, the full-time job. So it sounds like you're doing full-time job times two with education. But looking at your MDR work, you manage detection and response, your blue teaming work. What's a typical day like for you without giving anything sensitive that
Right.
what you do with Palo? What's a typical day for you at work?
Yeah, I mean, so MDR analysts are essentially just SOC analysts, but instead of being internal to a company, it's you pay a third party to provide it to you. It depending on the company, the MDR might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less, but yeah, it's basically just a SOC analyst role, right? At least what I'm doing, working on detections, looking at the queue, making sure everything's good, threat hunting, et cetera, typical like SOC work.
But you're doing SOC work for other organizations that are customers, clients of. So has there been an incident that recently occurred that you helped or detect or help protect against? What kind of tools were you using? As long as they're not, as long as they're not proprietary.
Yeah. I can't really talk about tooling too much, but yeah, I've been a part of a few pretty decent sized incidents, I would consider at least. Nothing that's like headline worthy. Thankfully, right? You don't last thing you want when you're providing services for someone as a headline event. It was just, Luma Stealer has been super hot. I don't know if you've heard about Luma Stealer. It's been provided through ClickFix, which is this kind of like human social engineering exploit where they'll do like a fake Cloudflare or a fake landing page, and they have you paste code into the Windows R dialog box, and that pulls down malware. One of the ones that I came across didn't pull down Luma. It pulled down malware that the person hadn't seen before, and they were asking if someone could help them deobfuscate some stuff. So I kind of jumped in, and I found out that it was sock ghoulish, in fact, and it was fun to do this like obfuscated code where I had to take the modulo of 3 and get every third letter from this jumbled mess, and then I realized that AI could probably do it way faster than me. And then I asked AI to do it, and it was done in like 2 seconds. But
So, as a SOC analyst, what are some of the AI tools that are out there that are helping you?
yeah, I mean, it depends on what your company approves. But we have a little bit of an in-house built one, and then on my own time when I'm doing things for like try hack me or school, Gemini has just been phenomenal. I kind of try to shill Gemini whenever people are talking about AI, because even its free model is just it's really good. I mean, I've gotten it to do some things for me in terms of scripting and coding that like maybe felt hard, but once you kind of know how to ask it what to do, it gets pretty easy.
Yeah, when you're working with large language models, once you can understand how to be able to communicate it with it better, you get a lot better results. Kind of like anything that we do in life these days. What other are you seeing other SOC tools or SOC analysts or conversations with other SOC folks where they're finding their jobs are becoming more efficient with using AI? Is there any concern that AI is going to take that first level position?
So there's a lot of concern that SOC level 1 is going to be erased with AI, and I can understand the concern, but realistically speaking, at least in my opinion, if you integrate AI into what you do on your daily basis, you understand how it works, and you figure out how you can become more efficient with it, then you're just going to ride the wave instead of being taken under it. It's all about accepting that this is a new tool, right? I mean, people thought EDR was going to kill antivirus, and it did, but it didn't. There's always been this big scare of something new coming along and replacing something. And it's all just about going with the flow, right?
What are some of the, when you're, and in keeping with the flow of all the tools and the technology that's out there for SOC analysts and so forth, what are some of the other challenges that SOC teams are facing with the different types of attacks that are going on these days?
Oh man. Yeah, AI is definitely used in a lot of attacks. People like to either try and generate malicious code through AI. There's been LLM poisoning where they get people's information out of AI, trying to get the model to do things it shouldn't do. And I've been seeing a lot of Trojanized AI, which has been an interesting vector. And I kind of figured it was happening, but seeing it is definitely better than just thinking it's going to happen. People will Trojanize like ChatGPT, or they'll make fake Gemini apps or Claude apps that people can download. People who aren't technical, or maybe they are technical and they don't know any better, they'll go out and they're like, I want ChatGPT on my computer so I can do my work. And then they download this package from some random .top domain, and they try to execute it, and maybe it gives you like a splash page of something, and then it's just like a bunch of ransomware or a data stealer or something.
Yikes. And a lot of that is it's folks don't know what they don't know. They think they're getting that chat GPT and it's not there. And yeah, that gets rough. And, and then of course it infects the system. And that,
Mm-hmm.
that goes back to one of the big issues that I'm seeing is with shadow AI.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of folks want to have it. I see them, they sometimes it's easier just to have it on your phone because when you
Yeah.
try to tell somebody not to do something, they're going to find a way to do it because you told them no. That's the same way with kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's certainly the issue of shadow AI within organizations. Looking at, and we're kind of shift here a little bit. And I noticed on your profile, and you talked about it in the opening there about a couple certifications. You got certifications and you're getting them through your master's degree program that you've got. What are some of the certs that you have, and what kind of impact has there been for you with your career?
Yeah, so I only have two certifications officially. One of them I got through my master's, which was the CYSA plus, and the other one I got because I wanted to a couple of years ago. It was the Security Plus. Everyone had it, and I was like, "Why not? I'll take it." So I went and took the Security Plus. I actually am kind of against doing certifications unless I see direct value from them. So like I never did the A plus, Net plus. I never did like CCNA because I was just like, all right, the content from them is great. I went and studied all the content. I just never took the exam. So as far as value that I've gotten from the certifications that I do have, it was more of a self value than I believe any kind of value from a company. I think it's more of a confidence booster than anything. I've never been directly told that my certifications were great because, again, I only have like two of them. But it was definitely something where it proved to me that I did know what I was talking about, which kind of kills a little bit of the imposter syndrome, but it does add more because, like, now I, on paper, know what I'm talking about. And now if I sound like an idiot, then they can prove that somehow I passed.
You bring up an interesting point with regards to certifications. I'm somebody back, and this could be where the world was and where the world is now. Where I was in 2008 was doing IT work, hearing about cybersecurity, and somebody telling me you should get your CISSP. I'd been doing security practices with regards to securing a network, but the CISSP for me was something that opened up big doors. It allowed me to get into cybersecurity because of that certification. Do you see that's the case now with certifications, or do you have to have something like a CISSP or the OSCP for it to really be open doors? Do the CompTIA certs, the ISC2CC cert, those type of certs, do you see those as good for foundations, setting a foundation, or should you not even just worry about them, focus on your education and your work experience? How do you view all that?
So it depends, right? Every lawyer will say it. Basically, how I see it is like most of your higher level jobs will at least want you to have some form of certification just so they don't have to like they get an idea from your resume that you know something. The government jobs are always going to want certifications because that's just how they work. Military, I think, pushes for certifications. If I remember correctly, I was talking to somebody who was saying that they had to pass a certification to get rank. It's not a bad thing to do certifications, but you don't need them for most jobs. I think what is important is doing projects related to the job that you're trying to get and being able to display those somehow, even if it's just a blurb on your resume saying like, "Hey, I've set up an Active Directory environment. I've secured this. Like, I've done this. Please hire me."
So do you feel that the entry level, those entry level certifications, the CompTIA, Network Plus, Secure Plus, A Plus, those ISC2CC, do they provide or they complement hands-on skills, or is it just more you've got the knowledge, understanding of what's in that cert?
I don't think any one certification is going to give you every hand-on skill that you need, even something as intensive as the OSCP, which is super hands-on. It's all about trying to take away what they're teaching you. So like A plus is basically teaching you computer parts, server parts, like what goes where, what it does. And yeah, they have like labs for the cert master and the hands-on for the test and whatnot, which is great. But going and actually doing something with it that's not related to directly the certification is where you're going to get the real value from. I mean, even if it's just something as simple, like for instance, for Pen Test Plus, right? I've been doing that a lot recently because I'm having to take the cert. Yeah, I have access to the Cert Master Labs, but I've been doing things on Try Hack Me that aren't necessarily in the description of the test, but they still use the tools that are on the test. So I'm still getting practice. I'm remembering these things.
Do you have any future plans? I guess once you have your master's and you start building up more experience, do you have any plans down the line to go for any of the more advanced type certifications like CISSP or OSCP?
If I do, they'll be highly specialized, I would imagine. I think at this point, I'm kind of done with the broad level certifications. I might get a CISP one day. I don't really see why I would need one, but maybe my opinion changes on that eventually. But if I do get any kind of cert from now on, it's going to be probably specialized, like cloud forensics or reverse malware or something that's just going to be what I'm already kind of doing, but narrowed in, just so I can have a better tool set.
Sure. Yeah, and it's something that validates the work that you've done, and yeah, it can be attested to and shown, hey, I've got this. That works really well.
Yeah.
So for the folks that could be listening, they may not have a certification or looking at trying to get a certification. If they're starting out, is there any ones they should go for first?
So starting out, like, we're going to assume this person just got an interest in IT or cybersecurity, like from scratch. I would say that you need to take the Sec Plus just because everyone has it. It's kind of a benchmark. But first, you need to establish good fundamentals because securing things is great, but you got to know what you're actually securing. The A Plus, the Net Plus, the CCNA was really good. I would say do all of them as though you were going to take the test and then just don't bother. I mean, if you want them, go ahead because there's reasons, obviously. I mean, some jobs require them. So if you take them, then it's definitely not going to hurt, but it's just not ones that I found value in taking, even though they are great certifications. I mean, the content on I paid for all the training, right? So they got their money. I just, I just didn't see value in having the cert. A plus, Net plus, CCNA, Blue Team level 1 if you want to go the Blue Team route is great. Obviously, the Pen Test Plus for Red Teamers it's a good starting line. The OSCP that one's probably worth actually taking because companies require that one quite often. It really depends on the path you're going down. Like the type of role you're going for is going to determine what you actually need cert wise.
Very cool. Yeah. And of course, if you're looking for training, there's anti-siphon training, right? That's out there. We got Simply Cyber Academy that's got some training in there. I know personally, and shameless plug from my perspective of my work with ISC2, there's the CC cert as well. That's a good entry level, good start.
Very good, yeah.
Get you in with that family overall.
Yeah, and then the ISC2 certs they get intense after a while. There's a couple of them where I was like looking over the content, I'm like, I could not pass this.
Yeah. I mean, they have a cloud cert and there's a
Yeah.
system admin cert. You've got CISSP, and then you get the more specialized one, managerial engineer and so architect. But yeah, and so organizations are dealing with certs. If you can get certs through school, sometimes the school, if you're going to college, like you said, your master's, you can get some of the certifications. Maybe when you get hired by a company, if they want you to get them, they'll pay for you to go to class, and that's great. You get paid to go and they pay for you to attend. So that always works out really well. Shifting over towards your YouTube channel, I saw that you had one, which I thought
Mhm.
was really, really cool. The Learn to Defend Cyber, great title for your YouTube channel. So if you haven't checked it out, folks, you definitely need to go have a look at it because he's got some really neat videos in there. And I noticed that they focus around phishing prevention.
Yeah, those first lines, yeah.
But I'm curious to know, what do you see as proactive steps that organizations should take these days beyond just doing training?
Ooh, beyond training, obviously, you've got your oh, you're giving me a pop quiz here. You've got your different things you can set up, right? You've got your DKIM, you've got your DMARC, making sure all your initial email settings are in place before it even touches your users. Email security gateway so that like known spam can get blocked out. All of these things that can happen before an email ever hits your user's inbox. And then once the email hits the user's inbox, if your like training fails, or maybe it's just a really well crafted email, because they do exist, they can be very convincing, and they click, you should have more defenses in place. And this is also being proactive. It's not a reactive thing to have EDR in place that's going to stop it, XDR in place that's going to stop whatever malware gets downloaded. It's the depth of security, it's the layers, having these things all in place so that even if a user clicks an email, they're still secure.
What's one mistake or one area of improvement that blue team setups or blue team operations could improve on?
I feel like the vast majority of SOC teams either don't use automation or don't use it enough, because alert fatigue is something that you hear every SOC analyst talk about. You see the same alert 20 times a day. At this point, you're just getting numb to like, this user signed in from wherever, and it's just like, yeah, we know. And then one day that's going to be a true positive, but you're so burned out from seeing the same thing over and over again that you don't see the slight difference, and you close out anyways, and maybe you've missed this like stage one of attack. So with automation, it gets really handy because you can have a more Boolean look at alert data. It's like, all right, we see that this is from, Jerry, our boy Jerry, signing in from the Bahamas. He finally decided to take a vacation. He signs in every day. He generates 15 alerts on his multiple Google apps that he loves to use, and we know it. And then one day on Friday, he signs in from Russia. And I know Jerry well enough that he doesn't like the cold enough to go to Russia. Let's say if I was looking at it, which hopefully I would be doing a better job. We'll say Carl. Carl's looking at it, so I don't wash myself over. Carl's looking at it, and he goes, "Yep, all right, Jerry's signing in from a weird location. Skip. Jerry's account has been accessed by Russia, and no one knows." If it was an automation and it was doing a Boolean comparison, like, all right, what's in this alert? It's Jerry. Yep. Okay. He's signing into Google. Yep. He's signing in from Russia. Oh, that's different. So now it knows you were closing things for Bahamas because you know he's there. You can even put an expiration date on that. And now it's different. And you don't have 30 alerts you have to go through. You just have one.
Yeah. Automation certainly goes a long way as well.
And it helps everyone. It
Yes.
helps everyone. Yeah.
So I kind of want to shift to some more of your personal perspectives. You mentioned Jerry,
Yeah.
Dr. Zero Lozier for Simply Cyber for the daily cyber threat brief. That's on every day, and people watch it because they want to keep current on what's going on out there in the world. What are some of your favorite resources to keep current, whether, networking, whether Discord channels, whether it's conferences, whether it's other podcasts, because we see that cyber threat landscapes are changing so quickly. What are your go-to resources?
It used to be Twitter, but Twitter, the whole cybersecurity thing kind of like died out. People went to Mastodon, but that's still kind of dead. I love RSS feeds, having your different news sources like the Register or Shameless Shill Unit 42, and different companies, have a variety, much like normal news. Don't just take a headline from one company and call it truth. Look at the same headline over a bunch of different companies. Some companies have a little bit more information. Some companies do a better job of explaining it. I'll read the same headline like 3 or 4 times and go through the actual article just to see if there's like, oh, this one has some IOCs that the other one didn't have. This one has like information on who the actor was, and it just having a variety of news feeds. Obviously, Jerry's show. I've been working a Pacific shift at this point, so I've not been live. I've been doing team replay because I'm having to get up later and then stay up later. So yeah, team replay is where I've been at with Jerry. It's just, yeah, pretty much that's it, right? I mean, Black Hills does their Monday roundup thing that they have. That one's fun, talking about the news.
Awesome. So you're certainly leveraging a lot of different resources, and I like the notion of going through and checking a story in multiple locations because you never know what you're going to be able to find in other articles. The cybersecurity, or we'll say MDR for you,
Okay.
is an animal. What kind of animal is it?
Oof. I'm gonna say an owl. I think it's an owl. Yeah.
It's all wise and looking out. All right.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. What's your favorite word in cybersecurity?
It's not an actual word. It's a little bit of an ongoing joke in the DFIR community. It's super niche. It's called thrunting. It's threat hunting. It's just kind of mashed together. It's thrunting. I think it's dumb, but Wade hates it, so I say it all the time.
I will remember that the next time I see Wade. All right, so on the flip side, what's your least favorite word in cyber?
Quishing. I don't think QR phishing needed to be quishing. Kind of to say. It's like saying ointment or something. It's like it's the same onomatopoeia. Yeah, I don't like quishing.
I was going to say it's kind of like when you do Discord phishing. Is that dishing, or
Yeah,
if it's
maybe.
you're in WhatsApp and doing phishing? Is that
It's
wishing?
wishing.
Yeah, no.
Maybe. No, maybe.
All right, so here we go. Wizard hat on, magic wand in your
Okay.
hand.
All right.
If you could fix one thing in cyber, what would it be?
I would, my immediate thought says I would make education more available, but I feel like it's more available now than it has ever been. So if it wasn't that, I would probably fix job titles because I think job titles are horrible and job descriptions don't know what they are asking for. So it's hard for people who are trying to break in to actually figure out what job does what, because I could be an MDR analyst, I could be a SOC analyst, I could be a threat hunter, I could be all these other things, and it's all the same stuff. Like, yeah, you could call me king of the magic pond, and I still do the same thing I'm doing.
You'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite cyber tool?
I'm gonna just say agnostically, I'm a big fan of SOARs. It doesn't really matter
Okay.
which SOAR, because I was shilling automation earlier. I love a good SOAR, especially when it's implemented correctly, because it saves everyone a lot of time.
Saves everybody a lot of time. There you go. What would you say, or do you have a favorite personal or cyber book?
Yes, Tracers in the Dark. I love Tracers in the Dark. Phenomenal book. I think Tracers in the Dark kind of pushed me over to the wanting to do. Yeah, there you go, Andy Greenberg, wanting to do the like looking into malware and the investigations, and it was just I listened to it on an audiobook like on a plane ride. I want to say I was going to Vegas and back, Yeah. Yeah. And like when I touched down in Charleston, I was finishing the end of the book and I'm just like, man.
All right. So you've worked for several companies already, but what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
If Thanos snapped and cybersecurity didn't exist, I would probably tackle somewhere in the digital arts realm. I would probably do either like video editing or like drone footage or things like that. I really like that stuff. I do like the arts. You can see I have a piano and guitars and I like music, so doing that kind of stuff is fun.
Very cool. What profession would you not like to do?
What profession could you never pay me to go back to? Fast food.
Or do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could pay me a millionaire salary and I probably still wouldn't go. It was hell.
All right. That's cool. So if there was a sandwich to be named after you, a casually Joseph,
Yeah.
what would be on it?
I would prefer it not be a sandwich. I would actually prefer it to be a hot dog, which is kind of like a sandwich, right? You got meat and buns. I love a Carolina style dog, which is like the chili and the coleslaw and like brown mustard and onions. I would probably go for that. If we were just doing like a deli restaurant where we had everybody's name as a thing, mine would just be a Carolina dog.
I think you already answered this already, but what's the worst job you've ever had?
Yeah, fast food.
Right.
Yeah. I did kind of answer it. I worked at McDonald's for a while, and
Oh, wow.
it sucked. I had to like do clopens all the time, like closing and open.
All right. This is a tough one. If you could only have 3 apps on your phone, which ones would they be?
Well, YouTube and Discord are pretty obvious. I think YouTube and Discord. If I could only have a third app, do search engines count? Yeah, I was gonna say because do I have to get rid of Safari because I do kind of use that a lot.
All right. That's cool. Yeah. You got your internet search, you got your communication, your phone. That works.
Yeah, in entertainment, you got to have your
You
YouTube
got to
with
have your
dinner.
entertainment. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So if you could ask one person one question and they had to answer truthfully,
Oh
who
man,
and what would you ask?
this is gonna be a really dumb one. I think I would ask Dimebag, the guitarist for Pantera, how the hell he made his guitar squeal like that all the time.
There you go.
Because that is something that I've been trying to do. Like, yeah, they're called pinch harmonics, but the way he does them is just nuts.
Very cool. What do you see as the biggest threat in the next 10 years?
I don't think it's going to be AI. I think AI is the threat of now. Everyone kind of says that the biggest threat is AI. Quantum's tapping our back, and everyone's kind of ignoring it because it's not quite far along enough. But I think pretty soon it's going to be a reality, and we're going to have to start adjusting things very quickly.
What is one cybersecurity myth you would like to dispel?
I think the myth that I would like to dispel is that there isn't any way into cybersecurity because I feel like with enough work, you can kind of get in even if you don't have an IT background. You just have to do a lot more project work, a lot more networking. Yeah, having an IT background is going to be the easiest way in. Don't get me wrong. But IT, like cybersecurity can be accessible. There are definitely roles out there for everyone. You just kind of need to find the ones that everyone's not applying for sometimes.
Where is the one place you would love to fly to? Money's no object.
Oh man, out of everywhere in the world, I would probably go overseas, either to Japan because their mountains look awesome to hike, or the I'm horrible with geography, wherever the mountains of Everest are, the Mount Everest mountains. I don't know where those are off the top of my head. That's why I do computers and not geography.
Nope, I get that. Himalayas, Nepal.
Himalayas. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
They both look awesome. Like, where are you going to see anything else like that?
Okay, well, we're getting to the end of the episode here, but there's 2 more things I want to talk to you about really quick. One of them is, what do you want your legacy in cybersecurity to be?
I've kind of thought about that. Sometimes you'll have an internal monologue where you're like, "Hey, what do I want people to know me for?" And it's a pretty existential question. I don't really care if people remember me so much as they remember things that like may have helped them realize. Like kind of the paying it forward thing that I like to do, because a lot of people have helped me in the past, and I'm starting to help a lot of people with different things. And I kind of want that just to be a tradition that continues on, like people getting information and then taking that information and giving it out.
Very cool. Very cool. Do you have any conferences you're going to be at anytime in July, August, September?
Yeah, I'm going to DEF CON 33, I think this one is. And I'm going to be at Wild West Hackin' Fest and Simply CyberCon. So those, and besides Charleston, and I think I might try to swing Augusta, but that one's like super, I don't know.
Gotcha. Very cool. Well, I'm sure hopefully folks will be looking for you out there at those locations. Do you have any other final words you'd like to share with everybody before we call it quits today?
Really, just help each other. That's all I want to say. Just help each other. There's a lot of things going on in the world, no matter what your view is, and just help each other.
Joseph, Joe, it's been awesome to chat with you. I even learned more about you today than I hadn't known already. So I truly enjoyed this. And I look forward to catching up with you at DEF CON and Wild West Hackin' Fest and Simply CyberCon and wherever else we end up. Jerry's house? I don't know. But,
yeah. Maybe in his shed. Be impromptu.
Maybe out in the studio or the Simple Cyber Studio. So, but awesome. But it has been fantastic. And I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody for listening in here today. And hope everybody has a great day, great week, great month. And we will see you next time. And thanks for stopping by.